Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to meeting 119 of the New York State Canal Recreationway Commission. I'm Brian Stratton, the acting chair of the commission, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this all virtual meeting, our first meeting of the 2025 calendar year, late into the first quarter, but we're getting underway, and we're looking forward to an exciting season ahead and more meetings. We are coming to you from our Albany office and other locations around the corridor as our commissioners, agency representatives, and regional planning executives join in. I am told we have Commissioner Fra Patorti, Commissioner Cal Wysakowski, Commissioner Ken DeRoller, Commissioner Steve Iacchetta, Commissioner Natalie Stetson, and Commissioner Doug Cole, all scheduled to be with us, and I see most of them here in my video screen. So welcome, commissioners, and thank you for being with us today. From our agency representatives, Sarah Emmert from Empire State Development and I Love New York, Fred Bond from the New York State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Planning, Paul Byer from the Department of State, and also David Brooks, also from the New York State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Planning. No regional planning executives have RSVP'd to be with us. We did have Richard Sutherland last time, so I'm assuming that that is still the case. But if anyone comes in, you can chime in, or Kim can let us know. We're also joined, I think, intermittently today by our trustee, B. Gonzalez, who's actually traveling, but has pledged to tune in to any part of the meeting that she needs to get. So, trustee, if you are with us by phone and hearing this, we are grateful to have you listening in. So I'm informed that we have a quorum, so we can call to order meeting 119 of the CRC, and of course the first order of business is to affirm the minutes from our last meeting, which was 118, and that was held on December 19th from our regional offices in Syracuse. So if all of the commissioners have received and have had the opportunity to review the minutes, first we will take a motion to approve the minutes. Who would like to approve the minutes? Cal, I think I see you talking, but I don't hear you talking. So if you have moved to approve the minutes, and Steve Iacchetta is going to second the minutes. Okay, is there any discussion on the minutes? You can unmute and you can add your discussion. Hearing no discussion, the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed say no. All right, very good. The minutes have been approved. We will go on to two property items that we have on the agenda today. As always, we met last Friday with members of our property committee and going over both those items. Actually, both items are in the town of Parenton in Monroe County. Jessica Foote, our property management specialist, is with us. And Jessica, I have, you may not be taking them in this order. I have first the proposed abandonment of 13.4 acres of canal land located in the town of Parenton, Monroe County. Is that your first item?
It's our second item today.
That's your second item? Okay, the first item would be the proposed abandonment of 1 acre of canal land, also located in the town of Parenton, Monroe County. Okay, Jessica, welcome, and please take us through this.
Thank you, Director. I do have a PowerPoint. I don't know if we're able to add that. Just that there's some photos of the area.
Are you able to share your screen, or is Kim sharing?
I think I can share it. Let's see here. Sorry.
Kim usually has that pulled up. Let's see if she's going to get that pulled up for us. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
You don't have it? Who has? Ah. I am told that our NIPA control team in White Plains actually has control of the PowerPoint. So Joe, if you can hear us, we need the first slide of the land items.
Give me 1 second. I'll pull that out.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Could we go to the next slide, please? All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. Today we will be discussing 2 proposed abandonments for the Commission's consideration. Both requests are in the Western region and located in the town of Perrington, Monroe County. The first request, sorry, could I have the next slide, please? Our first request is for an approximately 1-acre parcel located in the town of Perrington, Monroe County. The parcel is located on the west side of the canal. This parcel is not presently needed or anticipated to be needed for the operation and maintenance of the canal system. Next slide, please. The requested parcel is irregularly shaped and improved with a small building currently used as a crew clubhouse, and there's lawn area. The requested parcel is bounded on the north by Fairport Road, the west by private businesses, the south by additional lands under the jurisdiction of the Canal Corporation, and on the east by the Erie Canal and the Canalway Trail. This abandonment will have no impact on the Canalway Trail. The Canal Corporation will retain full ownership over the lands containing the trail. Based on a visual inspection, there are no environmental concerns associated with the requested parcel. The applicant has requested to purchase the subject parcel and to utilize this parcel for its continued use as the crew clubhouse. The parcel has been under permit to the applicant since the 1960s and has seen many improvements over the years. The adjacent zoning is commercial. The town anticipates rezoning as residential C, which allows for parks and recreational areas when authorized by a governmental entity. The requested parcel is a portion of Blue Line Canal lands on map sheet 72, examined and approved in 1922, appropriated for the construction of the Erie Canal. Prior to the parcel's disposition, a review by the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, for the parcel's historic and archaeological significance will be requested, and the Canal Corp will condition the deed accordingly based on SHPO's determination. Can I have the next slide, please? And here's a couple pictures showing the parcel and the building. Are there any questions about this item?
Questions from the commissioners? I think, Kim, I think that Commissioner DeRoller sent questions in that he might have had. So if you want to add those when they're appropriate, I'm not sure if it's this item or the next item. If you have those. Okay, can we get a motion to approve and then a motion to second? Who would like to move this?
So moved. Cal?
Commissioner Wysokowski, second. Steve, Doug, you have to unmute and say your second.
I can second. This is Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie. We appreciate that. Moved by Commissioner Wysokowski, seconded by Commissioner Stetson. Okay, discussion on the item. Further discussion on the item?
Director Stratton, this is Cal. I just wanted to let the other commissioners know that we did review this package of parcels, this one and the next one on Friday. And we had quite a discussion about both of these parcels. Staff came back with answers to many of our questions, all of our questions, from the town of Perrington staff. And I was very pleased with that and satisfied that these should both be moved forward. So I don't want to go and rehash our conversations from last week, but I did want to assure our commissioners, other commissioners, that we went through these pretty carefully.
Thank you very much, Cal. That's good to know, and we certainly know the area well around Fairport. Those of us who have been on the water and on the trail know this parcel and this territory within the Fairport Perrington area very well. So I'm happy to know that you've had a robust discussion about it. I was unable to join the property review call on Friday, but I understand that it went well. So we have a motion to move and a motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Hi, if you can hear me.
We can hear you. Opposed, say no. Okay, the motion passes. Jessica, let's go on to the next property item, please. Please advance the slide.
Everyone. Our second request is for an approximately 13.4 acre parcel located in the town of Perrington, Monroe County. The parcel is not presently needed or anticipated to be needed for the operation and maintenance of the canal system. Next slide, please. The surplus land is an irregularly shaped parcel improved with many amenities typically found in a park, such as a parking lot, skate park, tennis, volleyball, and basketball courts, a playground, pavilion, picnic areas, and a canoe, kayak launch. The requested parcel is bounded on the north by O'Connor Road, the west by private businesses, the south by Fairport Road, and on the east by the Erie Canal and the Canalway Trail. The abandonment will have no impact on the Canalway Trail. The Canal Corporation will retain full ownership over the lands containing the trail. The parcel is currently zoned as a park. Based on a visual inspection, there are no environmental concerns associated with the requested parcel. The applicant has requested the subject parcel and plans for its continued use as a park. The parcel has been under permit to the applicant since the 1960s and has seen many improvements over the years. This request is made up of a portion of Barge Canal parcels 3165, 3166, and 5387 appropriated for the construction of the Erie Canal. Prior to the parcel's disposition, a review by SHPO for the parcel's historic and archaeological significance will be requested, and the Canal Corp will condition the deed accordingly based on SHPO's determination. Next slide, please. And here's a couple pictures of the park. And are there any questions about this item?
Everybody knows this park, or the people that looked at this, again, those of us who frequent the Fairport area know the park well, the town of Perrington Park. This is also recently had a new skate park added to it. A lovely section of land, and good to know that the Perrington is a good steward. So let's move in second. Who would like to move this item?
Cinderella move.
Yeah, a second.
Steve, aye.
Commissioner DeRorlo moves and Commissioner Iacchetta seconds. Okay, discussion. Cal or Steve, would you like to add any commentary from what your discussions on this item were on Friday?
I can chime in and say that once again, we went back and checked with the town of Perrington staff, and they've invested a lot in this park. It's a big park. It's 13 acres, a little bit over 13 acres. It's a very active park. It's right on the canal. It's very close to the commercial district in the village of Fairport. And the town, assured us that it's going to be a park. They'll continue to make investments, and the use is consistent with their planning efforts as well. So I feel really good about this project and the town stewardship of the park. So I'm all for it.
Good. Any other commentary or questions on the parcel? Okay, it has been moved. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. The motion passes. Thank you, Jessica.
To
Those
everyone.
concludes our two items. And next up, I'm going to give you an update on our Bicentennial Commission activities. So if we could go on to the next slide, please. And the one after that. And the one after that. Okay. So going back to the Bicentennial Commission, which we've talked about before, which includes those on the screen. I'm happy to continue to serve with the first gentleman, Secretary Mosley, Commissioner Knight, President Knight, and Commissioner Simons. We've been meeting monthly, and we've held our first meeting of the new year, and we're going on to our next meeting. We're sort of working our way in between commissioner budget presentation schedules and the passage of the state budget coming up April 1st. So March is also proving to be a challenging month to get everybody on the same page. But let's go over what we've done so far and what we have in store. So we'll go on to the next slide. Next slide, Joe. There we go. So this is a summary of what we've talked about so far. And as we've mentioned previously, we have a series of concerts coming up this summer with the Albany Symphony Orchestra getting set to announce their concert series. And I can tell you that the majority of those concerts are going to be taking place during the July 4th weekend and July 4th week. And those concerts are going to be held in Medina, Utica, and in Schuylerville, and also a series that is going to take place in Troy. So we're very excited about that, and details are going to be coming very, very soon. Shane might be able to chime in on when those concert dates are going to be made official, but we make sure that we give them all to you and you have them on your calendars. WMHT, of course, is continuing its production of a bicentennial documentary project. Will roll out in several segments, and the first segment is scheduled to begin next month. So we're very excited to be able to tune in to WMHT PBS locally here in the capital region, but it'll also be picked up by sister PBS stations across the state. So that, again, details on that airing date are going to be coming up very, very soon. We are also continuing to maximize the number of events that are going to be held throughout the state. Very excited that our New York State Lottery partnership is still on track. We are also working closely with the New York State Commission on African American History under Secretary Mosley, continuing to work on the concept of a bicentennial flotilla, either to or from or both the World Canals Conference in September. And of course, building upon our culminating event, which will take place October 26th, will be 200 years to the day of the Erie Canal's opening, and that will be taking place at Pier 26 at the Hudson River Park in New York City. More than 400 community events, community organizations, and locations have signed up to participate in commemorating the bicentennial. And there is a great interactive calendar, if you go on to the next slide, that the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor has put up, and this is a real-time interactive calendar. The number of events on that calendar change daily, if not hourly. If you have an event, I would encourage you to go to this link, eriecanalway.org/events. Look at how the calendar works, look at what's planned, and submit your event that will be vetted by the Erie Canalway team and then posted. So it's very exciting. Cal, do you have any update on how many events are on the page yet? We don't. We can see you talking, but you're muted. Okay, no update. All right, well, check that out, folks, because that's a great calendar and that's a good way for us to all keep in touch about what's going on locally and across the state as we get into the spring and the real full swing of the Erie Canal bicentennial. Next slide, please. As you all know, the Seneca Chief has got its plans to traverse across the state, leaving from the World Canals Conference on September 25th, arriving in New York Harbor the evening of October 25th with 27 stops along the way. So this is an exciting opportunity. And there on the left, you see a picture of Pier 26 at the Hudson River Park. And on the right, a picture, of course, of the Seneca Chief on one of its previous community tours. And that's the way it will be for a very exciting tour of the Erie Canal Boat Seneca Chief. That's if you're talking about the proper name and the proper title. Buffalo Maritime Center says it's Erie Canal Boat Seneca Chief. And then as everybody gets to know it, we'll just shorten that to be Seneca Chief. Let's go on to the next slide, please. I'm very happy to tell you that when we get to New York City on October 26th, we will be serenaded by the West Point Band. And of course, the West Point Band is known all over the country, if not around the world. It is the premier military band in the nation. It was established in 1817, and this is a really big deal because it was the West Point Band that played for Governor DeWitt Clinton in 1825. So we are thrilled to know that 200 years later, the West Point Band is still here, and they will be playing hopefully for all of us and for Governor Hochul at the Pier 26. Thank you for that beautiful slide. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Happy to tell you that the list of sponsors for the World Canals Conference is continuing to grow. Cal is going to talk about that. But among them, a new arrival is Big Ditch Brewing Company. And if you're not familiar with Big Ditch beer out of Buffalo, you're going to have an opportunity to taste it when you get out to Buffalo. And if you follow this Seneca Chief across the state, you're going to have many opportunities to taste their product because Big Ditch is going to be traveling with the Seneca Chief. So stay tuned for more news about Big Ditch Brewing coming very, very soon. Let's go on to the next slide, please. We're also working with OGS to put a beautiful display inside the well-traveled OGS tunnel that connects the Empire State Plaza to the state capitol. And there you see the remnants of the New York State Parks 100-year photo display. That's been taken down, and we are getting ready to assemble and to unveil the New York Erie Canal, New York State Canal's bicentennial photo exhibit. So that's a very exciting opportunity for us to get extra exposure for all of the people that come to the Capitol, the public, and the legislators to be able to see what we're doing. Next slide, please. I had the opportunity earlier in January, along with many of the other governor's cabinet members, to get out around the state, and I had the opportunity to visit with the Orleans County Chamber of Commerce for their annual legislative luncheon. And we provided the opportunity to go through the governor's budget to see what the budget holds in store. And it's building upon the governor's fight to make New York State more affordable for families, but it also includes $50 million in additional new capital funding for the New York State canal system. And that is above and beyond the $145 million that is put in through the New York Power Authority and the Canal Corporation. So for the second consecutive year, the governor has proposed a $50 million installment to help rebuild the infrastructure of our state. And we are pleased to know that that $50 million figure made it through both one-house bills. So the Senate has passed that, and the Assembly has also. So we are well on our way to having a very important component in the budget for canals be part of the final state spending plan. Thank you, Ken DeRoller, for all your help out in Orleans County. And by the way, Orleans County is also celebrating its bicentennial, and we will be in Albion on April 15th to help them celebrate that. So it's great to know that both Orleans County and the Erie Canal are turning 200 years old. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Great news coming soon. We hope to have more news soon on the wonderful new lottery opportunity, and hope that you are putting your change into your jar every night, so you will have an opportunity to participate in this great game. I can't tell you all of the details, but if you look at all of the stacks of cash, you might get an opportunity, or might get an idea of what is coming soon. You might even be seeing 15 million on the Erie Canal. Let's go on to the next slide, please. We are also happy to announce that we have been working with Dr. Tyler Nordgren and putting the final touches on a brand new Erie Canal bicentennial poster. You all remember the beautiful scenic posters that Dr. Nordgren composed for I Love New York and for municipalities along the canal for the April eclipse event last year. We have a brand new entry to this, and so it's going to be suitable for framing, and the Canal Corporation is going to make that available, I believe, free of charge. And more details coming on our new Erie Canal bicentennial poster very soon. Next slide, please. And the only thing better than beer is ice cream. We have a flavor contest going on with Stewart's. Those of you who live here in the capital region, maybe in the Mohawk Valley, know Stewart's shops very, very well, and they're fantastic ice cream. So we have had an internal flavor competition of all of our ice cream names, and I'm not sure if we have the finalists up here, but we have some finalists, and we're going to have a final competition. And then this summer, you're going to have an Erie Canal bicentennial ice cream to treat yourself to. Next slide, please. We want you to save the date, because our next SUNY Erie Canal Bicentennial Forum will take place on April 8th, which is a Tuesday, and that is going to be held at SUNY Polytechnic in Utica. It's going to be navigating the Erie Canalway Trail. So get ready for that, and please mark your calendars for that. That's an all-day conference, and we would, of course, like as many of our commissioners, agency representatives, regional planning folks, and all of our friends to attend. Registration information should be on social media, and it will also be sent out by invitation to our entire mailing list. Next slide, please. World's Canals Conference. Cal, we are happy to turn this over to you to give us an update on plans in place and progress for the 2025 World Canals Conference. Cal Weissakowski.
Okay, so I keep getting muted. It says co-chair is muting me. So I hope you can hear me now. Can you? Can you hear me?
I
Yes,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
Great, fantastic. All right, so next slide. All right, so September 21st through the 25th, Buffalo, New York is the place to be. That is the World Canals Conference, a signature event of the Erie Canal Bicentennial. Next slide, please. So the conference is 4 days of being able to talk with people from around the globe about inland waterways and what's happening about the future of canals everywhere, globally. It's fantastic. Next slide. The theme of the conference, sustaining our multi-dimensional waterways. And you can see some of the sub areas that will be discussed underneath that, healthy waterways, healthy communities, waterway tourism and recreation trends, waterway management, canals and historic preservation, inclusion and accessibility. And the one that is not on there is lots of fun. These conferences are a great opportunity to get to know other folks from around the world and have a really good conversation about what's going on. Next slide. I'm going to go through quickly the schedule for the conference. Like I said, it starts on Sunday. Next slide. September 21st with opening festivities at Canal Side. There will be a reception for our international visitors on Sunday as well. Monday morning, we wake up bright and early and go to some plenary and paper sessions, which are like breakout sessions. And then Monday evening, there is a huge welcome dinner. And typically there's a keynote speaker at that dinner as well, which we're not announcing yet, but soon we'll be announcing. Tuesday and Wednesday are field sessions. It's when conference delegates go out and explore the region, the New York State Canal, and also in Canada this year. The field sessions include Brockport, Fairport, Lockport and Medina, North Tonawanda and Lockport, and a trip to Niagara Falls and the Welland Canal. So those are Tuesday and Wednesday. Next slide. And on Wednesday, one of the big events, and Director Stratton just mentioned this, send off of the Seneca Chief, which is very exciting. And we'll be down at Canal Side to do that. There'll be additional paper sessions and a banquet at Canal Side as well. Then Thursday, which is the conclusion of the conference, there'll be a morning plenary session, and then we hand off the conference to our next year's host, which is China. I believe it's China. I'm not sure what province in China, but the delegates will be there, and we'll hand it off. So you see the full array of events. It's really something special, Sunday through Thursday. Next slide. Come early, stay late, have fun. There's that fun. I knew it was in there somewhere. Next slide. There's more detail on the celebration at Canal Side on the 21st. But what I really wanted to get to was the next slide, please, which is the Gateway Tour. So when we say come early, there is a pre-conference tour as well as a post-conference tour, but this one is particularly special. It's, again, titled America's Gateway Tour, and it's about coming into New York City and exploring the impact of the Erie Canal from New York City to Buffalo. And it's a curated tour by bus, primarily by bus, looking at different sections of the Erie Canal and the impact on how it changed the face of the United States and history. If you go to the next slide, please. Highlights of the tour include visiting 4 national historic parks, viewing the Statue of Liberty, and visiting Ellis Island. And I think that's pretty exciting, especially for folks that may have heard about the history of the United States and how folks came here, but to actually be there and experience it as a national park experience is going to be fantastic. We're going to visit the walkway over the Hudson State Historic Park. There will be a boat ride, and I believe that's not until you get to Cayuga Seneca Canal. But all of the portions of the tour so far will be by bus, and then a boat ride when you get to Cayuga Seneca Canal. I do believe, yeah, the next item is immersion in the Native American impact in 17th century Seneca town. That's going to be something that will be highlighted in this pre-conference tour as well, really focusing on some untold stories and the impact that the canal had on some indigenous peoples. All along the way, you'll be able to sample local flavors with curated dining and craft beverage experiences. I gotta believe that Big Ditch Brewing beer is going to be one of those flavors on the tour. But it's fantastic. So that's the pre-conference tour. There is a post-conference tour. If you go to the next slide. after the conference, after Thursday, you can also take the Buffalo, Welland Canal, and Niagara Falls sampler, and this will be a little bit different than the field session, but it'll be a couple days where you can look at the arts and culture and specialty food and beverage items of the Western New York region. That's a very cool post-conference tour as well. And I know that they're filling up, so take a look on the website and check it out if it's something that you or folks that, even if you're not going to the conference, you can still do these pre and post conference tour. Now, next slide. This will talk a little bit about some of the highlights of the Buffalo and Niagara tour, including visiting the Frank Lloyd Wright Darwin Martin House, which I know a lot of people have asked about. There is some art and some visits to museums in downtown Buffalo. Certainly checking out Buffalo's local food specialties. That'll be fun. And then what else we got here? Exploring the abandoned locks of the Second Welland Canal and touring the Welland's historic northern terminus. And if you've never been to Welland Canal, that's certainly something worth seeing. Of course, then there's one of the natural wonders of the world, experiencing Niagara Falls. So those are some of the highlights for the Buffalo and Niagara post-conference tours. And I hope that you all check out the website for additional information, costs, and a lot of the other details are found at the website. And I'll give that to you at the end of this presentation. All right, next slide. So Director Stratton talked a little bit about sponsorships. We are actively seeking sponsors for the conference and exhibitors. There are lots of opportunities to join and sponsor a portion of the conference, and we ask you to do that. I know that we're more than halfway to our goal in terms of raising sponsorships and exhibitors, and we still have 5 months or so left to go. And it's an incredible way to showcase your business or your community by becoming a sponsor. And there's more details on the website about that. Next slide. There are various sponsorship levels. Some are very affordable, starting at, I think that's $1,000, going up to some of our bigger sponsors, in the $75,000 to $100,000 range. And again, all those details can be found on our in the conference website. And if you have questions about personalizing a sponsorship level, certainly give myself a call or Director Stratton, because we'll work with you to make something fit for you or your company. Next slide. Exhibitors, there's a $1,500 fee to exhibit, which gets you a table. You also get a complimentary registration and lots of opportunities to engage with the conference delegates. Next slide. So the call to action today is to register. Go onto the website if you haven't already. Register. You see some of the conference costs right there. The official hotel is the Hyatt Regency in downtown Buffalo. It's a beautiful property. And I know that Kim sent out some information to commissioners about the property and dates and things like that. Thank you, Kim, for doing that. I hope that all of us sign up and register to attend. It's the place to be in September. Last slide. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the following organizations who are serving as conference hosts, and that's the New York State Canal Corporation, the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor, Buffalo Niagara, and the Erie Canal Development Corporation. These folks have put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and really putting together a world-class conference in September. The website, WCC2025buffalo.com. It's WCC2025buffalo.com. At our last commission meeting, we pulled up that website, and it's spectacular. It has just about everything that answers every question that you would have, anything you wanted to know. So I encourage you to go there and be in Buffalo. It is going to be the place to be. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Director Stratton.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's an excellent update. By the way, I think the commission knows, but we will repeat that Cal not only is a commissioner on the Canal Recreationway Commission, but serves as chair of the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor, on which I serve
Yes.
also. So thank you
Yes.
for your leadership, Cal, in both capacities, and thank you for that great update. Some of us were in Rochester on March 1st for the Canal Society of New York's annual winter symposium, and at that gathering, Patrick Stenshorn went through some of the sponsors that have already been announced for the conference, and they include M&T Bank, the Ralph Wilson Foundation, and many others. So we'll have a slide for that next time and next opportunity when you want to update, so we can keep a running list of those sponsors. And if you can think of other sponsors that might want to join and take advantage of the opportunity to be a part of this great conference, I would go to Cal. Unfortunately, they can't come to me, Cal, but they can come to our colleagues over at the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor, and to you and to others who can direct them to the sponsorship staff. So please spread that word around that we need more sponsors. Let's go on to our next slide, please. And I am pleased to thank you very much, Cal. If there's any questions about the Canal Conference before we go into Shane and the opening day, anybody have questions for Cal? Sorry, I didn't ask that. All right, well, we'll take them in the chat also. So with this, we're looking forward to the opening of our 201st navigation season, and a very big day coming on Friday, May 16th, as we open up for a new season at Lock E2 in Waterford. And it's my pleasure to introduce now Shane Mahar, Senior Director of Public Engagement. Welcome, Shane.
Thank you, Director. Hi, everyone. A lot has been chatted about already today, and a lot of the excitement for this upcoming navigation season. So, as the Director noted, opening day is Friday, May 16th. We are certainly hopeful that all of our CRC commissioners and friends here can join us that morning. The locks will start to operate at 8 a.m. We are in the planning stages of an event for that morning. So please mark your calendars. More to come over the next couple of weeks, but we sincerely hope that everyone will be able to join us in person that Friday morning there in Waterford. And from there, as Director Stratton noted, we have a whole host of really exciting opportunities to get out and about along the canal as we commemorate this bicentennial season. Our communications and public engagement team very hard at work at working on those announcements and putting things together. So we'll stay close to the CRC. We'll make sure everyone here is informed well in advance, and that we hope for all of the opportunities out there along the canal this season, you'll be able to join us. One other, I guess, sizable event to note that we haven't chatted about yet is the grand opening of the Brockport Pedestrian Bridge, which is one of our projects that's coming online this year. Construction has progressed well this winter, despite it being really cold and snowy out there these past couple of months. And we're aiming for a mid-June ribbon cutting event out there if construction does continue as we expect these next couple of weeks here. So more to come on that. But as noted, we will stay close to all of you, and we'll make sure everyone's informed. And we're really looking forward to commemorating this year with everyone here. So, Director, I think that's the quick, very high-level highlights and a couple extra mentions. And back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Shane. Please circle that date on your calendar. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to have some extra opportunities for you to interact with other people down there. We are going to make sure that our Bicentennial Commission members come. We may even try to schedule one of our Bicentennial Commission meetings, since we generally hold those Friday, there, invite our trustees. So a lot of excitement building as we get ready to open up. It's always a beautiful day, and Shane has gotten in with the Waterford mayor, make sure that it's always, the sun is always shining. So we're looking forward to that. And Shane, I know you're going to spread out some cards and some social media postings so we can share it throughout all of the communities for the opening day ceremonies. And that really starts off a whole chain of events leading into the summer, into the fall, and wrapping up on that Sunday, October 26th, with the Seneca Chief and the West Point Band in New York City. Questions for Shane on opening day? Any incidentals that you may want to add here? I want to let you know that we have Fred Bond had to leave, but we've also been joined by Laura DeBetta of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Laura, thank you for being with us also today. Okay, we are coming now to an update on our operations, and Dave Mellon is with us. Senior Manager for Operations. Dave, I'm sorry I don't have your title in front of me, but you are the Operations Chief, and we're happy to welcome you, Dave.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone. So just a brief update from Canal Operations relative to the navigation season. So at this point, we are still in the middle, full swing, if you will, of our winter work program. Even though the weather's getting nicer, on most of our projects, we still have 3 to 4 weeks to go or so. Some a little ahead, so some a little behind that schedule. But we had a very full plate over the past few months, and there have been some surprises and extras on certain projects. But from an overall perspective, we're in good shape again this year to get the projects complete and get the infrastructure in a place to open on time on May 16th. Besides the projects, this recent warm weather, particularly this week that we're having, there's a lot of activity over the past few weeks and even currently relative to ice breaking at certain locations. Last week, we were quite concerned about the E7 to E8 pool. And at this point, it looks like we're going to be okay there in terms of any flooding. And also with all the snow melt, particularly in the central New York area, we are monitoring and managing the water in our reservoirs very closely. So lots of challenges there in addition to the projects. But from an overall perspective, we're looking good for the season. As Shane mentioned, we're going to go with the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. hours again this year. And some locations will, of course, have extended hours. Some very similar, if not exactly the same as last year, but the standard hours of operation are going to be 8 to 6. And this year, in case you didn't catch it on the notice to mariners that was put out, I believe in January, but relative to the length of the season this year is going to be extended to November 3rd. And that's, largely driven by the Seneca Chief that Brian mentioned and the commemorative trip from New York City back to Buffalo. So it's almost a 3-week extension of the navigation season. And, we haven't published the hours across the system yet, I don't believe, but for that period, that last 2.5 weeks or so, bringing us to November 3rd, we will be letting folks know what the hours there will be as well. And the only caveat really that I'm aware of is staffing. At some locations, we've really struggled with staffing recently over the past few years, we'll say. And if those challenges exist, we may have to attenuate hours or make other adjustments. But extended season this year, so it makes great sense considering the anniversary that we're all celebrating and talking about here. And so then the thing I'll end with is, from an operational perspective, this season, is largely doing the work that we do every year. But there's another layer relative to this anniversary. And to the extent that operations can adjust and support the various events throughout the summer leading up to the fall event, we will of course do that. So we are working, very closely with Shane and others to make sure where we can be there that we are. So that's it for operations. Thank you, Brian.
All right. Thank you, Dave. I know Brian had to step away for a moment, but I'll pitch hit, whatever that might be. It looks like from the agenda that the next item is other business or general discussion. So I believe we normally open it up to commissioners at this time to ask any questions from any of the presenters that you might have, or to introduce any other business that you wanted to bring to the commission today. So with that, commissioners, any questions or additional items? Oh, and it looks like Brian is back, so I'm saved by the bell. So I was just asking for any other items or general topics from commissioners, or any questions for Dave.
Any questions for our season, or for Dave for the work, or anything that we've discussed up to this point? Wonderful.
I'm good.
Good. We have a public comment session for any members of the public that are on who would like to offer commentary. So if there's any members of the public that have come on, Kim, that have want to be a part of this, we would welcome to hear from you. We would also welcome to hear from our trustee, B. Gonzalez, who I thought I saw coming in. Trustee, if you're with us, if you have any commentary or questions, we would love to hear from you also. Thank you. I hear none.
Brian,
Oh,
this is Cal.
yes, Cal.
Sorry, I was on mute and I apologize. I have a quick question. Is there any update on the rollout for the Canal 2050 plan? I know we talked about, or we heard about it coming out in the spring, maybe May. Do we have an update?
I'll ask Rebecca to provide an update on that, or to answer that if you've got more details, Rebecca. I know you're waiting on a opportunity to do a update on that at the April gathering of the Canal Society.
Yeah, we worked through that one, but I was just curious if there was an update.
Sure. So in terms of next steps, all the commissioners recently reviewed the annual CRC's report to the legislature and the governor. The final full version of the CRC's 2050 plan will be added to the CRC's annual report and provided, I believe, on March 31st to the legislature and the governor. That's part of the process for finalizing the report and kind of our last step. Hopefully you guys can hear me over sirens outside. Hopefully that is our final step before we can have clearance to go ahead and make the report public. And Shane and I were just talking along with Jackie about rollout plans. One of the modes that we contemplated is potentially doing what we would call like a media package. So a pre-prepared video with interviews that news stations could readily roll out. So not focusing on a single media market, but instead seeking to bring the report and the news of the report to all of the relevant media markets across the Canal corridor. So I'll let Shane expound if he's got additional details on timing, but we are still looking at this spring and in the next 2 months or so. Shane?
Thanks, Rebecca. Apologies, Cal. I think I was supposed to chat about this during my earlier talk a few minutes ago, so apologies for not bringing it up then. But yes, as Rebecca just shared, Jackie and I have been exploring some different ideas to produce a video and start to spread the news here. In addition to uploading the content from the 2050 plan up to the Canal Corporation's website, so it's there for public viewing. And showing all of the hard work that went into that this past 18 months or so. So definitely more to come. I'm thinking through still kind of the media strategy with Jackie. As Rebecca noted, we chatted this morning about it. there's a strong possibility that we would tie the rollout to the second quarter CRC meeting, which I know we've started to chat through some possible dates for that in early May. And that may be a nice opportunity there just before navigation season, and to also incorporate and involve all of the commission members here as part of that rollout. So more to come, but we're working on it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cal, I also see that you have posted a list of the sponsors to date for the World Canals Conference in the chat. So if you would like to see the sponsors that we have so far, I think in addition to the ones you've mentioned there, Cal, also Anne McCaffrey and her husband have also done a personal sponsorship in addition to People Inc. She serves as CEO of People Inc. in Western New York. So we have a couple of sponsorships coming in from Anne and her family and her organization. Trustee Gonzalez has chimed in on the chat saying these are exciting updates, and she looks forward to the upcoming season and the conference. Did you mention the cleanup events? No, we did not mention that. The annual Canal Clean Sweep is coming up in conjunction with Parks and Trails New York. Shane, do you have details on the dates and the planning for Canal Clean Sweep?
It is the third week of May, typically that week of Earth Week, third week of April. And I know that there are volunteer opportunities all across and throughout the Canal Corridor. Our trails team, Sasha Del Prel, Shelby Moore, and others are working with colleagues over at Parks and Trails New York, Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor, others to support those events. So more to come on those. But yes, I think the third full week in April is the target for those.
Yeah, the dates we have listed on the website, it's on Parks and Trails New York. So thank you, trustee, for bringing up that important topic. The official dates are April 18th to the 20th. April 20th is Easter this year, so that might limit, folks wanting to organize an event that day potentially. On the Parks and Trails website, which we can circulate, you can either sign up to join an existing event or to create a team and host an event. I am working with Sasha Delprell and also NYPA Canals trustee Lori Wheelock to schedule something in the Capital District, most likely later in that week. So we're not bound by those dates. We can certainly, accommodate whatever works for people's schedules. So thank you for bringing that up.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Rebecca has posted the link to the Clean Sweep events in the chat. So that's great. Let's go back to the slide, our closing slides. If we've gone through public comment, we've gone through official business, we've gone through new business.
I don't think we've opened it up for public comment yet, Brian. I don't know if there's members of the public on the line or if they're able to use the chat to enter a question if they're not able to unmute themselves. If they're not hosts or panelists, they may not be able to.
In the meantime, we look for our next meeting, which will be in the second quarter. So the second quarter begins next month. We're wrapping up the first quarter here in March. We'll look to see if we can get a meeting on the calendar in person before we open for the 2025 season on May 16th. If not, it'll be shortly thereafter. We're due to get back in person, probably try to do something in Syracuse, which seems to work out well. So we don't have a date, as far as I know, set, but we will do a caucus and make sure that we get a date that works for as many people as possible.
Director Stratton?
Yes.
This is Cal again. I just wanted to, I have one more item, and that was just to say thank you to Paul Galesta. It's my understanding through an email from Paul that he is bidding us farewell. And I just wanted to say thank you to Paul, Justine as well. Justine, I hope you're not leaving. But Paul is heading out, I guess, in early April, and he worked with us on the Canal 2050 plan. I'm very grateful for his work and his approach. And on behalf of the CRC, thanks to Paul, and we wish him well as he moves forward in his life's journey.
Very well said, Cal. Thank you very much. Yes, Paul is going to be leaving us, I believe, in April, and he's been instrumental in working on not only the 250 plan, but also the Brockport pedestrian
Yeah.
bridge, which is going to open up in June. So we're excited about that. And Justine is also with us, Justine Heilner, who we've heard from on several occasions in the past. Justine, thank you. Please pass our well wishes on behalf of the CRC along to Paul.
I will. Thanks, Cal.
Yeah, thanks, Justine. Thank you.
Any other comments for general comments? As I mentioned, we have the Orleans County Bicentennial coming up on April 15th. We're looking forward to getting out there. We have another opportunity to mark the beginning of the Bicentennial with Cornhill Navigation on April 16th, and we'll be in Rochester on April 16th for that. And I suspect a lot of travel is going to be following on that point. So thank you all for participating. I think we are ready to look for a motion to adjourn.
Proprietary, so moved.
Thank you, Mayor Patorti. Wearing your two hats still. Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Doug Cole. Thank you, Doug. Commissioner Cole, thank you. Moved and seconded. Discussion on adjourning before we take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you soon. If we don't see you before Easter, wishing everybody a happy Easter. Thank you.